Hey guys, Lizardlea here for Christmas Minis 2022. I am doing Poinsettia potted plant. uh, it's this one that's cut off, unfortunately. Okay, focus on the book. There we go. This guy. So, I love poinsettias. They're so gorgeous. Like, honestly, after Sakura Blossoms, they're probably my number one. So that makes them number two, because I can count. Tomorrow is Labor Day. I won't be working, so hopefully I will be cross-stitching tomorrow as well. No promises, though. Just saying. I'm starting very late today. It's almost 10, so I'm actually getting hungry, but we're going to do this. I already pulled out all of my colors, so ready to go. I do have a complaint, and I'm pretty sure I've made this complaint before, but like these patterns, y'all. Okay, so let's see. There's this star, all right? It's like a dark gray. There's this star, which is white. And there's this star, which is maybe pink. Okay? I literally grabbed all three of those because this pattern has the pink stars on it. And I straight up just looking at them, on the legend, the 819 looks like it has a pink tint to it. And on here, it straight up looks white because it's around a bunch of other pinks. Like, if it was around white, it'd be easier to... Well, no, even at the edges, when it's next to the white grid, it still looks white. Like, there are so many symbols in the world, and you're going to repeat one 3 times? Ridiculous. Like, and that's not even the only one. The diamonds are repeated. Stars are repeated. A star that's filled in is repeated. Diamonds, did I already say diamonds? Like, they repeat symbols and think that just changing up the color is enough. It's not. It's really not. I'm blind, apparently. I can't even imagine how difficult something like this would be for someone that is colorblind. Like, if all you saw on these were shades of gray, like, you'd be screwed. You'd be screwed. You'd have to go to somebody else and be like, hey, which is the right one? Or, like, you'd have to have somebody else, like, order your colors by, like, these are all the reds, these are all the oranges, these are all the yellows, the pinks. So then you're like, okay, this number that does, you know, the symbol only appears once is a pink. So this one around it where the symbol appears 3 times is probably also pink. It's probably going to be this one. But you shouldn't have to do that because there's so many symbols in the world. Like, you could literally start doing numbers. Obviously, you don't want to get too high because it'll be difficult to read, but you can at least do 1 to 9. And that already solves a lot of the duplicates. Excuse me. Also 0. You could do 0. You could do the alphabet. Like, whatever. Okay. Complaining over. I'm sorry. I am going to go I'm not going to crochet. I'm going to cross stitch the poinsettia potted plant. What the heck? When I was crocheting before, I tried to say cross stitch, and now that I'm cross stitching, I'm trying to say crochet.
Alright, so I'm very sorry that this is one of the longer ones for the Christmas ornaments, and DJ won't be joining me. It is currently Black Friday. Yesterday was Thanksgiving for us, and his work is just a little crazy. A lot of people got called in to work today because, you know, there's just shenanigans and it's busy. So I was like, I should do the narration on my own because we don't know when he's gonna get home. He could be there, you know, all day. And I figured me talking for 20 something minutes was better than complete silence. But, you know, if you prefer the silence, again, you're more than welcome to mute it. I do not care. I will not judge you. So I took a screenshot a very long time ago of the last time I had to do narration on my own, and it looked like I left off on number 10. What do you wish your coworkers knew about you? And you know, I wish they knew that, yeah, I'm shy and I get embarrassed about things, but I still want to participate in the company traditions, because I've been left out of several of them. I just had my 3rd year anniversary, and I'm left out on our annual traditions. I get it. You know, accounting people are usually shy and introverted, and I am. But, like, I want to participate. You know, like, I work here too. I want to feel like I'm important to this company. And I often feel like I'm not, because I'm left out of these tradition things. Like, for everybody, on your first year, they would have everybody at the company, you know, it's like open floor. They all get to list a bunch of adjectives of you. They didn't do that for me on my first year. But they did it for the guy that was hired a week after me. And I brought it up at my 2nd year. And so that's when they did it. And I was just like, no one noticed for an entire year that I was ignored and left out on this? Like, yeah, you know, it's just, and that's not the only time it's happened. It's happened at least 3 times. And I am a believer in you know, if it happens one time, that's just an incident. It just happened. If it happens the 2nd time, it's a coincidence. But if it happens the 3rd time, it's a pattern. And I'm officially at that pattern. And it's just like, you know, I know Michaels didn't ultimately give a crap about me, but my coworkers did. Corporate never cared. They never will, especially at a big company like Michaels or Ross. But my coworkers did. And that went really far for me, knowing that, you know, my store manager, my fellow managers, my employees cared. So, yeah, that was a long spiel. Sorry. 11. What is your biggest pet peeve at work? When other people are lazy. When they could get the answer themselves, but instead of doing that, they ask someone else. Like, oh, hey, could you get this for me? Oh, hey, can you do this? Like, why can't you? It would take you, like, less time to just go and do it yourself than it would to go ask someone else to do it and wait for them to do it. Like, that's just something that's always bothered me, because I try to be very self-sufficient. I only try to ask people questions when I genuinely don't understand it, and I, you know, Google anything else. It does not help, and I can't get my answer. Or 2, I literally can't do it. Like, this is not something I have approval to do. I have to ask someone else. But if I can go and find it myself, I do. If I can do something on my own, I do. The only time I don't, even though I can, is when I know, oh, this is something this person is supposed to do. This is something that is their job, if that makes sense. Okay, because, yeah, you know, like, I don't want to do someone else's job for them and then have their boss be like, well, why didn't they do this? That it was their job. Why didn't you ask them to do it? Why'd you just do it yourself? You know? Yeah. 12. Who has had the biggest impact on your career? I'm going to have to, I've mentioned him before, Mr. Martinez, my computer teacher back in high school, because I started as an art major. I talked to him, and he made me realize I should not go into art, whether it's because, you know, starving artist thing. That's what I always heard from my family and friends. Mr. Martinez was the one that was like, you love art. I know you do. You're going to be miserable if you make that your job. it's going to be terrible and you're not going to love it, you know, in 5-10 years when you've been forced to do it constantly. And he's like, you know, what's something that you like, something that you enjoy, but you don't love? And I was like, oh, you know, numbers, math. And he was like, yeah, you know, accounting, go into something like that. And bada bing, bada boom, I'm in accounting, I'm an accountant. 13, what is the strangest job you have ever had? I was a telephone operator in high school. It was on base, but it was still really strange. I had people asking very weird questions. I was on base in Japan. So my spiel was, Yokota base operator, how may I help you? And there was a lady who was like, is this China? And I was like, no, this is the operator on Yokota Air Base in Japan. Are you sure this isn't China? Yeah, I know what country I live in, and it is not China. Oh, hey, I made a mistake on screen. I'm pulling stitches out. I probably did it like one stitch too far over left or right. Or maybe up and down, I don't know. But yes, see, proof that I also make mistakes, you guys. And if it's bad enough, I will pull it out and fix it. I know there are a couple Christmas ornaments, or at least one, where I found a spot where I made a mistake, but I was like, it's not severe enough. I don't need to correct it. It doesn't matter. Obviously, this was one that I was like, nope, I need to fix this. And I did. But yeah, telephone operator. Very strange job. 14, what was the most stressful moment of your career so far? Okay, so I don't know if this is supposed to be my current career or just my, like, the strangest moment of every job I've had. Or stressful. Because it was really stressful for me when I was at Michael's, and I didn't, you know, I was very new to retail. My thought process was not to assume someone was trying to steal. And I helped a lady basically steal a cart full of stuff because I didn't understand the situation. And then the cashier and the store manager were like, oh yeah, you know, you should have known that. And I was like, no one told me. How was I supposed to know that? Like, it's your guys' job to train me, to, you know, to look out for these kinds of things. And it was really stressful because the store manager was just like, oh, finish your shift, blah, blah, blah. Like, he was super upset. He didn't fire me for it. I didn't even get written up for it because, you know, how can you write up someone for doing something you didn't train them to know about? Like, I hate that. I think it's a really bad manager who does not train their employees and, you know, properly tell them what to expect. Yeah, okay. You shouldn't assume everybody in a retail store is going to steal from you. And you should never do that. That's not the correct way to do. You know, that's just not correct. It's not. But you can tell your employees, like, hey, if somebody's trying to bring out a cart full of stuff and the cashier, you know, like, they don't have a receipt or anything, and you're not sure about the situation, you know, like, you didn't see them literally walk in with just a ton of stuff and dump it in their cart. If you did not physically see that, you can speak to one of the managers and have them check the cameras, because they'll be able to see, you know, either A, yes, they did bring it all in, you're allowed to help them carry stuff out, that's not a problem, or B, no, they did not carry this in, we're taking this stuff back from them, we're going to report them. You know, I've had so many horrible managers, and a lot of it is bad training. I don't think it's hard to train someone. Like, I'm not a good teacher, but I like to think I was a good manager because I didn't, at least in my memory, I didn't get mad at people for doing something that was wrong if they didn't know. Like the Michaels I worked at was the worst one in the district. We had the worst loss prevention in the district. And so, you know, the other managers and I, when I became management, we would tell people, hey, we have a lot of issues with theft and whatnot. These are common things to look out for. And it wasn't a profiling thing. It was an actions thing. Like if somebody is just piling their cart sky high to the point that stuff is falling out, you know, have somebody out on the floor say, oh, hey, I can move this behind the register for you and get you a new cart so that, you know, you don't have a ton of stuff causing issues. If they let you do that, they're probably not going to steal from you. If they say no, you might want to call loss prevention because that's kind of suspicious. And yeah, we had a few people try to take carts out of the store just full of stuff without paying. That's why we had poles on our carts. It was to stop people from just walking out with carts full of stuff because we had issues with people doing that. And we would have people, you know, yank the cart back so that they could take it under without the pole. But like it's and yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. That retail was really stressful. Ross was especially horrible because the store manager was just the worst store manager I ever had. And I had to work at least 5 hours of overtime every week, which wasn't a problem. Like, cool, yeah, I'll take the extra pay, you know? But I was supposed to have a several hours overlap with the store manager. And it never happened. As soon as I got in and clocked in, he would leave. And it's just like, what? I have to work a 9-hour shift as the only manager on duty? I had to eat my lunch on the clock constantly. So, you know, I got another 30 minutes of overtime. Or, you know, 12 because I was the only manager on duty. And if there was an issue, I had to walk away from my food. Like, he just... horrible manager. Oh my God. And it really sucks when you have a bad manager. It makes everything difficult. It really does. 15, who would be on your project dream team? Oh, Holka, 100%. I've told her numerous times, and other managers when I was at Michael's agreed with me. She was the best employee ever because she was always happy, she was always nice, she was always kind, and she always did her best. I don't remember a single time when I was disappointed in her work or her ethics or anything. Like, you know, obviously we all make mistakes, none of us are perfect, but I don't remember a single time of ever having to tell her like, oh hey, don't do it this way, do it this way, and she didn't listen. Like, she would correct it immediately and it would be perfect. And she got along with everybody. She didn't have any issues working with any other coworkers, whether they were good people or not. That is definitely the kind of person you want on your dream team. Someone who can follow the rules, follow instructions, and do their best with them. Perfect. I think David, my fiance, is a great worker. Like, my understanding of the job that he does is he always also tries to do his best. And he is really good at stepping up and being a leader. I think I am as well, but I also think we think differently. And that is incredibly important to have in your team. If everybody thinks the same way, you're going to fall into a lot of the same traps. You know, you might miss something that if you had someone who approached projects differently, they would catch. And I think it'd be really good to have someone like that on my dream team. I mean, honestly, it doesn't, I don't know how many people I'm supposed to put on this dream team. It's mostly going to be my friends, because I hang out with people that have good work ethics. That is very important to me. I know this sounds silly, but I don't like people that are constantly late or just don't care and expect other people to do the work for them. I a lot of times in school, I was the one that had to do the majority of a project because other people would be too busy or it was so confusing and they didn't get it, and I hated that crap. So those are not the kind of people I usually hang out with, because they bother me a lot. So yeah. 16. What unusual workplace benefit would you love to receive? I don't know what an unusual workplace benefit is. Let me Google what comes up. I mean, I know my current job is really nice. Sorry, one second. Unusual workplace benefit. One of the things my current job has is every quarter, so every 3 months, we're given a $250 balance that we can spend on essentially whatever we want. Something to better our career. So, like if I could find a $250 class, my work would pay for it for me. And I use it to buy audiobooks because I love listening to audiobooks. That's what I do all the time. You guys know this. I'm listening to Codex Alera right now. And I'm super annoyed with myself. I've edited some of these videos and I say Codexa Alera. I don't know why, but it's Codex Alera. I've tried to write that in the notes or, within the video every time I've noticed that I've done it. But in case I miss it, it's Codex Alera by Jim Butcher. But yeah, I think that's a pretty unusual workplace benefit, and it's really nice because, yes, we do have to get it approved by a manager, so I can't use it for just anything. But I've been able to use it for, things I bought from Michael's, my art projects. And it's really nice that $250 every 3 months, I get to put towards something I care about and that I want. What are some unique employee benefits? Home office stipends, learning and development budgets. We have that. Unlimited PTO. We have DTO, so it's discretionary time off, which is essentially unlimited PTO. Employer paid or affordable health care. 4-day 4-day work week. Yes, that is what I want. I want a 4-day work week because I feel like I'm on Saturday, I'm still recovering from the work week. And then Sunday, I just spend going, oh man, tomorrow's Monday, I have to go back to work. Excuse me. And so having, either Friday or Monday off, whatever, heck, having Wednesday off, it would be so less stressful. And I'm totally okay having those hours moved to the 4 work days. So I currently work 8 hours, 5 days a week. So I would instead work 10 hours, 4 days a week. Yeah, those are both 40, so that would work. I would absolutely be willing to do that. That would not bother me, especially because, like I just said a minute ago, or however long ago, I had to work overtime when I was the assistant store manager at Ross. I had to every single shift, and I'm in an office job now. So what's 2 more hours every day? That's nothing. Or at least I don't think it is. Obviously for some other people it could be, but no, that would be so nice. I would love that. Because I feel the weekend goes by so quickly that I don't feel like I get to really de-stress, if that makes sense. 17. What is the best free food to discover in the break room? I mean, honestly, donuts or pizza. I am very typical when it comes to that. And I know a lot of people would complain that, you know, especially in retail, oh, management had a pizza party, I'd rather have a raise. Like, yeah, we all would. Unfortunately, at least the management jobs I worked in, we didn't get to make the choices on who got paid. And at Michael's, when we had pizza parties, management ourselves, we paid for that with our own money. It wasn't Michael's or Ross that paid for it for us and reimbursed us. We paid for it ourselves. So, yeah, it was still cheap overall, but it was my money. And, you know, I genuinely cared about my employees. Corporate never does, but I did. And donuts are just always delicious. So, 18. What is the best gift you have ever received from an employer? Best gift I've ever received from an employer. Like, I don't know if I've ever actually been given, like, a gift from a boss or anything, but my boss at Michael's, Justin, that store manager, was the best boss I've ever had. And he was personable, he was kind, he was hilarious, and he was just a good manager. And that, in and of itself, for me, was a gift. I felt like he made me a better employee and a better manager just from how he was and how he interacted with other people. And I definitely view that as a gift. He made me the manager that I eventually became. Yeah.
And that is the end of Christmas Minis potted plant, poinsettia potted plant. That's what I called it, right? I don't know. Anyways, I got 3 hours and 42 minutes of footage, so lots of backstitching on that one. Took quite a while. Looks so good though. I love poinsettias. Okay, tomorrow is Labor Day, so I don't work tomorrow, so I will hopefully be cross-stitching a little bit more and, you know, put a good dent in these Christmas ornaments as soon as possible. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that jazz. We'll see you guys in the next video.